Hey, what's going on, everybody? We got to talk. We got to talk. All right. Bunch of things I need to talk to you guys about. Number one, this is a little bit of getting back to the mental game stuff, which I haven't really been talking about much recently, but this is very important. Now, in the past, and some of you, you know this because you've been with me for a while and you've heard me say this and repeat it over and over. But repetition is good. Repetition is how we learn, okay? Repetition is how we grow. It's very common knowledge. Now, listen, language. I've spoken to you about language and the use of language. Language is very, very important. The things you say are very, very important. The way you characterize your situation is very, very important. And you have the ability to control that, okay? Nobody else controls that. The market doesn't control that. So when you are in a position, and it maybe is a difficult position at the moment, don't say things like, I am getting killed. The market is tanking. I'm getting destroyed. I'm losing my ass, whatever. Don't say things like that. You can characterize it any way you want to characterize it. Now, first of all, let's understand some things. Markets move around. That's what they do. All this is a big numbers game of things moving around constantly in a state of flux. And as I have shown you, or as I have attempted to show you over the years, that the vast majority of market participants don't know what the hell they're doing. They are basically guessing. They are emotional. They are buying into themes or concepts or paradigms that are not applicable. All right, so when things move around, more than likely it's because of the reaction on the part of a large numbers of market participants that really don't understand what's going on. And when you start to say, I'm getting killed, you immediately put the control of your situation into the hands of these idiots, okay? So you could just say like, all right, I have a position and today the market is being sold down a little bit. I don't know, or don't say anything. Don't say anything. Or bring some perspective into the situation. For example, we have a position in Gilead Pharmaceuticals, okay? We bought that last year. That is a very, very large, important biotechnology company. The stock was in the hundreds. It came down. I started buying it at 80, okay? I don't remember when it was. This might have been in August or something like that. In the summer, I think. It's down to 72. Okay, big deal, 10%. Some of you have this. You're freaking out. Now, if you are overexposed, if you put yourself in a position where, you plunged into this and now you are overexposed and you're getting a margin call, that is your fault. That is not mental game. That is not employing mental game. That is putting yourself at risk. If you are not overexposed, the 10% fluctuation in a stock, look, this company has enormous positive cash flow. It has an extremely low PE. The PE of this company is roughly about a quarter of the industry PE and probably a quarter of the S&P's price earnings ratio. It's ridiculously undervalued. It is profitable, although it took some charges recently, restructuring this and that. You got to put this stuff in perspective, man. You have to put this stuff in perspective. If you were operating a business that was throwing off as much cash flow, free cash flow as this company, you're really not going to be worrying that much about a temporary situation. There's plenty of cash flow to handle whatever it is, whatever eventualities, whatever business conditions come along. So, you really have to put things into perspective. You can't be saying things like, I'm getting killed. All right, you really have to watch the language. And it doesn't just apply to this stock position. It applies to all trades or investments that we do. I have said in the past that it doesn't matter what happens between the time we put a trade on and the time we take it off. We put a trade on and then we take it off at a profit. And whatever happens in between is meaningless as long as you are not overexposed. There are going to be fluctuations. There are constantly going to be fluctuations. No trade or very, very few trades are linear in the sense that you put it on and it goes straight in the direction you want and you take it off. That's like winning the lottery, okay? It's going to happen sometimes, and vice versa. It's going to happen where you put it on and it goes straight against you immediately. None of those things are real, and none of those things are normal, okay? What's normal is you put it on and it goes good, it goes bad, it goes good, it goes bad, and eventually you get out with a profit. And you need to stay in perspective about this. And you can't start programming your mind with all these negative thoughts about getting killed. I mean, think about that statement, killed. You're dying. You're literally somebody coming, taking a gun and shooting you. That's not what is happening. You are alive. You have the ability to work on that position. Nobody is killing you. Okay? Nobody is killing you. It's very, very important that you take to heart what I am telling you right now, because this is all part of your mental game. It's part of your mental programming. You have to stay positive at all times. You have to have perspective at all times, particularly in the times when things are a little stressful or things are a little difficult. It is never, ever, ever as bad as you think, and it's never, ever, ever as good as you think. All right? I have some of you, like, you've been on a string of successes, which is fantastic. You came over to me, you've been knocking it out of the park, you're making money now for the first time, and now you're like euphoric and everything. I keep trying to tell you, bring it down. It's not going to stay that way. You're going to run into a ditch, and then you're going to have to deal with that, all right? So it's never as bad as you think, and it's never as good as you think. And as soon as you kind of embrace that reality, believe me, it's going to go a lot smoother. All right. Now, kind of on that note, what happened with oil yesterday? Very interesting, because I sent out an email to subscribers. I did a video. I wrote a piece for street.com. We had a 14 million barrel build. I've been talking about all the oil fundamentals, which are basically bearish up here, and oil rallied yesterday. It rallied yesterday. Gasoline was up 5%. Again, you might say, oh, what the heck? I went short. First of all, everybody went short on that number. All the zombies went short on that number. So, of course, they're going to be wrong. It's going to pop up. This is, if you think back, if you've been with me for a while, going back to last year, this is exactly what happened when oil was going down, and we saw week after week of inventory drawdowns, and they still kept selling the oil, okay? And then eventually, look at where we are now. I remember when it went down to 39, and we were long at like 46, and I had the stop losers. Oh, you got to have stop. And, I saw what was going on fundamentally, and they came out week after week with inventory drawdowns, and they were still selling the oil. But look at where it is now. It's up at 52, all right? So same thing. Look, it's an old story, which I've said before, and it actually comes from that book, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, about Jesse Livermore, one of the great speculators. If you never read that book, go buy that book. It's very inexpensive. It's a great read. Has wonderful wisdom about trading, wonderful wisdom about life. And there's a story in there about one of his trades. I'm not going to recount the story here now because it'll take me a little while, but maybe one of these videos I will. Where he says, because somebody said to him, well, the market always tells the truth. And he comes back and says, yeah, the market always tells the truth, but it doesn't always tell the truth on an instant. It means not at this exact moment necessarily it's going to tell the truth. So, what happened with oil yesterday? You had a little bit of an uptick in gasoline demand in the Energy Information Administration's report, in the weekly report that came out yesterday. You had like a 600,000 or 690,000 increase, weekly increase in gasoline products supplied. All right, so everyone went crazy, but it's still down 5% year over year. That is unheard of. Gasoline demand grows every single year, and you are near record highs in gasoline inventory. You have year over year declines in demand. It was 6% negative. Now it's like 5.2% negative. It's still negative. All right. You had a 14 million build in crude. You had another decline in crude inputs to refineries. So the refiners, they're not even buying the crude. All right. They're cutting back. So let them buy. All right, you got it. You had an Iran thing overnight. That's something. Now, I'm not going to downplay that. Iran shot off another missile. So, that creates some tension. I still don't think we're going to see, any direct military action against Iran. I mean, if that happened, then all bets are off. But for right now, you got to look at the supply-demand situation. A 5% rally in gasoline yesterday on that number. When the overall picture, you got year-over-year declines in demand and consumption. I mean, let them buy it. I'm sold. Absolutely. All right, I wanted to put this out there. I'll be back later. See you later. Bye-bye.